it kind of slow so you can catch on. Let me take my glasses off. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G's like this, H, I, J, K, this is K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Were you able to do any of those? I bet you were. So I wanted to share a story with you. Here, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. It's a story that we're going to need some sign language in it. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make it a little bit bigger. All right. And you're going to need your hands. So I'm going to teach you the parts of the story, and then we're going to put it in a song. And it goes like this. You're going to do this. Little, big. Can you show me that? Let me see. Little, big. Walking. This is forest or a tree, right? This is elephant. Can you do that? Elephant. This is happy. What do you think this means? Yes, crying or sad. This is, what do you think that means? Scared. Yes. Let's see, what else is in this? Oh, we're gonna pick a flower. Can you do that? Pick a flower. It's like you're smelling it. A flower. Got that? And then you're gonna do your fingers like this. This means friends. Friends. This means girl. Girl. And now we're going to put it in a song, and you're going to catch on, and you'll be able to sing along with it and do the hand motions. All right. Once there was a little girl, little girl, little girl. Once there was a little girl walking through the forest. You know what happened? Let me tell you. The little girl saw a big elephant, a big elephant, a big elephant. The little girl saw a big elephant walking through the forest. Now, how do you think she felt when she saw that big elephant? How would you feel? You know what? The little girl was very scared, very scared, very scared. The little girl was very scared when she saw the big elephant. Well, when the big elephant saw that the little girl was so scared, do you know what he did? Let me tell you. The big elephant began to cry, began to cry, began to cry. The big elephant began to cry. Well, when the little girl saw the big elephant crying, she did something so nice. Let me tell you. The little girl, she picked a flower. Excuse me, she picked a flower, she picked a flower. The little girl, she picked a flower and gave it to the big elephant. Now, how do you think he felt when he got that flower? How do you feel when someone gives you a gift? Yes. The big elephant was so happy, so happy, so happy. The big elephant was so happy. Well, after that, the little girl and the big elephant became friends. And that's the end. Isn't that great? Were you able to do it? Well, I want to tell you a story today This is an African-American tale. It's an old story, and it's very similar. It has a lot of elements that are similar to the sign language story we just sang. But I'm gonna just tell this story. There's no sign language in it. Now I'm wondering if any of you, you guys are what, about 7? Probably not, but maybe you've been home by yourself with a big brother or sister. Raise your hand if you've ever been home with a babysitter or with your big brother and sister when your parents are gone out. Have you ever been home when your parents are not there? Yeah? Yeah? I bet you they have some rules. I bet you they tell you things like, don't jump on the bed, or don't cook anything, or don't watch too much TV, or don't eat the candy. They probably have some rules. They probably have things they tell you that you can or cannot do when they're gone. Well, this story is about a little girl. Her name is Shonda. Can you say that? Shonda. And Shonda lived in the forest in the South, and she lived way out in the woods with her mom and her dad. And there was a story, a legend that people in Shonda's town always talked about. They told a story about a wolf that lived in the forest. And they said he was mean and he was ugly and he was nasty. And you better be careful. You better watch out. But the thing is, Shonda always heard about this wolf, but when she asked her grandma and her auntie and her grandpa if they'd ever actually seen it, they all said, no, I never seen it. I just heard about it. No, I never seen it. I just heard about it. No one had actually seen this scary wolf. People just talked about it. And Shonda thought, well, that's strange. Everyone says it's bad, but no one's ever even seen it. So there was a rule that no one could actually go out into the forest by themselves. She knew this. Well, Shonda was about 9. She was almost 10. And one day, her mom and dad, they said, Shonda, baby, we have to go to the market, baby. And you're a big girl. You can stay home by yourself just for a little bit. And she said, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And so they gave Shonda a big old kiss. And they said, Shonda, you need to do your chores. Clean up your room. All right. Sweep the kitchen floor. All right. And you be good. Don't you go outside now. Whatever you do not go off into the forest. And she said, oh, Mama, Daddy, no, I would never do that. I know about that wolf. I would never go off into the forest. And they said, good. And they gave her a kiss and they left the house. And Shonda kind of peeked through the window and she watched them as they walked down the lane and disappeared out of sight. And she knew they'd be back pretty soon. She was a big girl. So the first thing she did was go into her room and she started to make her bed and she thought, oh, I'm home all by myself. I'm going to play my music. You see, her parents didn't like the music loud, but Shonda did. So she went over to the radio and she turned the music up real loud. And she was dancing around and singing. She was making up her bed and sweeping up her room. And she started sweeping the kitchen. She was having a good time. It's like a party all by herself. The music was real loud and she loved it. Well, after a while, Shonda started getting a little bored. She thought, oh, my parents are kind of taking a long time. Oh, I wish they would come back. I'm hungry. Well, Shonda went over to the refrigerator and she didn't see nothing in there that she wanted to eat. And then she went over to the sink. Now, let me ask you, in your house, in your kitchen, is there a window right above the sink? Is there for you? Yes? Well, that's how it was in her house. So she was right there at the sink and she was pouring herself a glass of water and she was looking out over the forest because, from the window you could see the whole forest. And as she was looking, she saw something she had never, ever seen before. Right there, growing at the edge of the forest was a humongous white flower. It was like this big. It was as white as snow. It was so beautiful. And Shonda said, "Oh, well, look at that flower. My, it is so beautiful. Oh, I really want that flower. It's just right there, right outside the door. Oh, no. I shouldn't go get it. I'm not going to get it." So she drank some of her water and she started to walk back to her room. But she kept thinking, that flower is so beautiful. It would look so pretty in my bedroom. I think it'll be okay if I just go real fast and just grab it. Now, let me ask you, do you think it's okay if Shonda goes outside and picks up the flower? What do you think? What do you think? What? Oh, you think it's okay? Well, Shonda went over to the door and she put her hand on the doorknob and she slowly opened the door. She looked this way, she looked that way, and she stepped outside just a few steps right there to the edge of the forest. And there was that white flower. Well, she bent down to pick it up, but it was stuck. Oh, she had to pull real hard. Now I need your help. She had to pull real hard. Here we go. She went, and she picked up that flower and she smelled it. Oh, it smells so good. It was so beautiful, so amazing. She felt happy. Well, Shonda, all of a sudden the song came to her, a song she didn't even know she knew. And she began to sing. Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. Oh, I have the most beautiful flower in the whole wide world. I'm gonna go take it in the house and put it in some water. Well, just as she started to turn around to go back inside the house, what? She spotted another flower. This flower was deeper in the forest, but she could see it because this flower was gold and silver. Gold and silver. It looked like somebody had sprinkled glitter all over it, and she thought, oh, whoa, that is the most beautiful flower I've ever seen. I have to have it. Now, do y'all think you think she should go run into the forest and get that gold and silver flower? Raise your hand if you think she should go. Raise your hand if you think she shouldn't go. Well, you know what she decided? She decided to go. And so Shonda began to run. And she ran deep, deep, deep into the forest. She was holding that white flower in one hand and she laid it down gently on the ground. And she used both hands to try to pick up that gold and silver flower. But it was stuck. Y'all gonna have to help her. Here you go. Let's pull together. Ooh, and she smelled it. Oh, she picked up the white flower. Now she had two of the most beautiful flowers in the whole wide world. Oh, she felt so happy. She felt so happy that she began to sing that song she didn't even know she knew. Can you sing it with her? Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. Well, now she had two of the most beautiful flowers and they smelled so good. But, oh, she better get back home. And just as Shonda was turning around to go back home, she saw another flower. This flower was all the colors of the rainbow. Yes, every single color. And there was a beam of light shining down on it, right through the trees. And Shonda thought, oh, I have to get that flower. So she ran. She ran deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the forest until she got to that rainbow flower. And she bent down to pick it up. You got to help her. She went, and she smelled it. Oh, it smelled so beautiful. It made her feel so happy that she started to sing that song. Can you sing it with her? Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. Well, now she had 3 of the most beautiful flowers in the whole wide world. She was so excited. They were amazing to look at, and they smelled so good. Oh, but she knew she better get back home. She looked around, and all she could see were trees. She wasn't sure if her house was this way, or maybe her house was. Okay, I have to think. Okay, I need to get back home. I think I should go this way. She was lost. Well, Shonda held on tightly to those flowers, and she started walking this way towards the forest. And she thought, oh, I hope this is the right way. I gotta get home before my parents get home. I gotta get home. And as she was walking, she got this funny feeling. Now, let me ask you, have you ever had a feeling like maybe somebody was watching you? That's how she felt. And so she held on tightly to her flowers, and she just kind of walked slowly. And she thought she heard something like the sound of crunching leaves behind her. And she thought, oh no, it's just my imagination. And so she walked, and she decided that she should probably take a little peek over her shoulder because she was really nervous. And so she just turned around real quick. Standing behind her was this huge, hairy wolf. Yes, it was standing right behind her. And she looked at it and she said, oh. And the wolf, it looked down at her and it said, little girl, you sing me that sweet and song you was just singing. And she said, what? You sing me that sweet and song you was just singing. Well, what could Shonda do? This big old wolf wanted her to sing the song. She held on tightly to her flowers and she began. Kiwa, 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 fala, fala, fala. Do you know what that big old wolf did? It went kaboom and passed out on the ground and fell asleep. Shonda couldn't believe it. She jumped over that wolf and she started running. You're gonna have to run with her. She went pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. But the wolf, he woke up and he came running after her. Honka jong. She ran faster. Pitter patter, honk. The wolf jumped in front of her, blocked her path, and he said, little girl, why you run? And she said, me no run. Sing me that sweet and song again. I like it. And she said, okay. What else could she do? Well, just before she started singing that song, she happened to look down at her hand, and guess what? She dropped one of the flowers. You know which one? What do you think? Yes, the white one. What did she have left? Which ones? Yes, the gold and silver and the rainbow flower. Well, she held on tightly to those 2 flowers and she began to sing. You're going to have to help her. Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. You know what the wolf did? Kaboom! He passed out asleep. Shonda jumped over his body and she started running. You better run with her. Pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter. And he woke up and he came after her. Honka jump. The wolf jumped in front of her, blocked her path, and he said, little girl, why you run? Me no run. Sing me that sweet and song again. What could she do? Well, Shonda looked at her hand and guess what? Yes, you're right. She had dropped another flower. Which one? Yep, the rainbow flower. She dropped it. It was gone. What she have left? Yes. All she had left was the gold and silver flower. She held onto it tightly and she began to sing for the wolf. Are you ready? Kuwa, kiwa, kuwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. You know what the wolf did. Kaboom! He passed out asleep and Shonda took off running. Pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter. She could see her house in the distance. She ran as fast as she could. Pitter patter, pitter patter. And the wolf woke up and came after her. Honka cha, honka cha. She ran faster. Pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. She made it to her house and slammed the door. She made it safely inside her house. Her heart was pounding. She was sweating. Her hand was still clutched tight, but oh, what? Guess what? Yeah, she dropped her last flower. Now she had no flowers, but at least she was home safe. Oh, Shonda went to the kitchen. She got her water. Oh, she had to drink some water. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so scary. I think that was the wolf. I think that was the wolf everybody was talking about. Oh my goodness. That was so scary. Oh my goodness. That was so scary. Shonda was, she was so scared and relieved. But she had to calm herself down and she sat down and she took a deep breath. And just as she was starting to relax, she heard a knock at the door. Boom, 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 boom. Uh-oh. She heard it again. Boom, 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 boom. Who could that be? Do you think she should answer the door? Raise your hand if you think she should answer the door. Who thinks she shouldn't answer the door? Do you know what she decided to do? Answer the door. She got up from her seat and slowly she walked over to the door. She stretched out her hand and grabbed a hold of the doorknob. And slowly she opened the door. Do you know who it was? It was the wolf. Do you know what he had? Yes, he had her flowers in his paw. He said, little girl, you dropped these flowers. And she said, thank you. And Shonda accepted the flowers from the wolf and she put them in her glass of water. And there she stood looking up at the wolf. And there he stood looking down at her. They were both just standing there. And finally the wolf said, little girl, would you please sing me that sweet, sweet song again? And she said, oh, okay. What else could she do? Shonda began to sing for the wolf. Can you sing with her? Kuwa, kiwa, kuwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. Do you know what the wolf did? Kaboom! He passed out right there in her doorway. He was halfway in the house and halfway out on the porch. He was there asleep. And she said, oh my goodness. Oh no, oh no. My mama and daddy gonna be so mad at me if they come home and there's a wolf here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta get him out of the house. Oh, what can I do? I know what I'll do. Shonda took a big step backwards. She rolled up her sleeves. She took a deep breath. And she walked over to that sleeping wolf and she squatted down right next to the sleeping wolf, and she took one arm and stretched it under his body here, and the other arm and stretched it under his body here, and Shonda slowly and carefully picked him up and carried him outside. And she sang to him, Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. And the wolf stayed asleep in her arms. Shonda took him deep, 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 deep into the forest, singing the whole while. Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. Shonda took that wolf so deep into the forest, and she gently laid him down, and he stayed asleep. And she sang the whole way home. Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. She left that wolf asleep in the forest, and she got back home. She locked the door, and she sat down, and she thought, oh, I just can't believe it. What a day. And just as she was thinking that, guess who came home? Her mom and dad. Now, do you think she told them about her day? Would you tell your parents about your day? I think you should tell your parents about your day, but you know what? Shonda did not tell her parents about her day. She took those flowers and she ran into her room and put them in her room. And they said, Shonda, baby, what's going on? You acting strange. She says, nothing. I'm just tired. I don't feel so good. And they said, well, how was your day? How was your time alone? It was fine. I'm really tired. I'm gonna go to bed early. So Shonda went to bed early that evening. She brushed her teeth, got her PJs on, she crawled into bed, and she passed out asleep. And it got real dark outside. And as the moon began to rise in the sky, Shonda saw the moonlight peek through her window, through her bedroom window, and she kind of sat up in bed, and she said, what is that sound? What is that weird sound? She heard a strange sound out in the forest. And so Shonda climbed out of bed, walked across her bedroom floor, and opened up the bedroom window. And she lifted it up and she listened. She put her ear out towards the forest and she said, well, that is a weird sound. I never heard a sound like this. She heard this sound. Kumwa, kiwa, kumwa, kiwa, fala, fala, fala. It was the wolf singing his cubs to sleep. And that was the end of that.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Miss Johnson. So kids, now is the time where you get to ask a question. So if you have a question, then raise your hand in the Zoom and I will call on a few kids. If you don't have a question, don't raise your hand. But if you do have a question, I'm going to start calling on a couple people now. So I'm going to start with Nada, and I am going to promote you to panelists. Nada, you're going to show up, you're going to unmute and ask your question.
Okay, my question was that when the girl brought the wolf to the forest, when she kept singing and she brought him down, how did she find her way like back home?
Oh my gosh. Wow, you're really tuned in and paying attention. You know, I guess she just figured it out. I guess she remembered the way that she took, and then she was able to remember the way that she came back. That is an excellent question.
And actually, I'm pretty sad that you only did one because I really liked it and I wished you could do more.
Oh, maybe I'll be able to come back and do some more stories. I have lots of stories in my head. Thank you, Nada. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Nada. Let's see if somebody else has a question. I'm going to go to Miss Brooke Brown. I am going to promote you, Brooke. And unmute yourself and ask your question.
My question is, how did you learn sign language?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I know a little bit of sign language. I took a class when I was in about 4th grade, and I learned some sign language there. But I also help teach myself. You can watch videos on the computer, and you can learn lots of sign language. So I learned some when I was a kid, and then I try to teach myself more and more on the computer, and I have a couple books. But it's easier on the computer because then you can see it. You can teach yourself sign language. You can just look it up online.
Wonderful. Okay. Cash Musgrave. I'm going to promote you, Cash. Unmute yourself, Cash, and ask your question, my dear. Where'd you go? Did I lose you? You coming? Come on, Cash. Almost. All right, let's try somebody else for now. Let's go. Oh, let's see. Let's go with Noah. Noah, unmute yourself, Noah, and ask your question.
Where did you find the story from? I mean the song game. Where did you find the song from? What does it mean?
Oh, I made the song up. So the song, it really doesn't have a meaning, but there are two, 3 printed versions of this story. One is called The Little Girl and the Wolf. And it's a collection of African-American folktales. And there's a German story called The Gunny Wolf. And you might be able to find that one in the library, The Gunny Wolf. And it's another version of this story that I tell. But the song,
Great.
yeah.
Okay. So a lot of creativity from Miss Johnson this morning. And I see Cash is with us now on panelist. So Cash, do you want to unmute and ask your question now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I wonder how she holds the flower. Like, since they're all pretty big, like, I wonder how she would see. Like, would she see from the stem? But if she's like, but I wouldn't imagine she could still see because of the like big petals.
How big they were. Wow, you're really visualizing the story. I don't know. I guess she was just able to handle it. Maybe she kept it to the side so that she could see this way. What do you visualize? To you, it seemed like they were too big for her to see. I think she held them to the side so she could still see.
I think she like put it inside of her pants and used them as like stools.
Maybe so.
Well, maybe, you never know. Nahaj, I am going to promote you to panelist, Nahaj, and you are going to unmute yourself, Nahaj, and ask your question.
So my question is, so how did she find the flowers? Like when she found the 3 flowers, why did she drop them for some reason?
I don't know. I think she was running so fast they fell out of her hand.
And then she's keep on running and running over again. And then the wolves keep on sing this song again. And I was like, oh my God, how many times is the wolf gonna keep on saying? Is it because he wants to learn the song, or is he just want to fall asleep and get knocked down?
Good thinking, Nahaj. That's something you'll have to think about. What do you think? You'll have to think about that. I'm going to call on one more student. I'm going to call on Zoe Ha. Let's see if Zoe has a question for us. Zoe, you are going to be in our panelist. Zoe, go ahead. What's your question? Uh-oh.
Can't hear you.
Come back, Zoe. Unmute.
Can't hear you.
She hasn't asked her question yet.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait for her and see if she comes back to us with a question. If
All right.
not, let's see if I have another question. I have Mila. Maybe Mila's going to be able to get a question for us. Mila, you're going to be promoted to panelist, or I might have too many panelists now. I'm not sure if I can at this moment. Let's see, Mila, maybe you can just ask a question. Oh, here we go. It's just taking a little bit. Mila, you're our last question. Do you have a question? Unmute and ask your question.
Did the I think that the wolf would just wanted to told the little girl to sing the song again so he could sing his cubs to sleep because they were not sleeping.
Yeah, he might have been having trouble putting his cubs to sleep, right? That was like Nahaja's question. Okay, guys. Well, I am going to go back to Spotlight Try. Let's see, speaker, up, view, gallery. Well, here we all are together. And let me just say thank you again to Miss Muriel Johnson, our fantastic storyteller. Thank you all you students who were paying so close attention and had some excellent, excellent questions and comments. Really appreciate all of you guys signing in and coming to our assembly this morning. Miss Muriel Johnson, I will see you tomorrow for our last assembly with our big kids. Spread the word, kids, how fun it was. And we're having 4th and 5th graders tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks, kids. Thanks, Miss Johnson.
Bye.
Bye.